Your morning coffee ritual could be silently destroying your joints right now. While you're focused on deadlines, client calls, and late-night work sessions, something as innocent as the milk in your fridge is triggering inflammation that's turning your body against itself. Most Americans consume these joint-destroying liquids daily without realizing they're creating their own arthritis nightmare. Whether you're grinding through freelance projects, managing a corporate career, or running a household, the milk choices you make today determine whether you'll wake up tomorrow feeling energized or crippled with pain. The fifth item on our list is so common that 89% of people ignore its devastating effects completely. 1. Whole cow's milk. Whole cow's milk contains high levels of arachidonic acid and saturated fats that directly fuel inflammatory pathways in your body. When you consume whole milk regularly, these compounds trigger the release of inflammatory mediators like prostaglandins and leukotrienes, which specifically target joint tissues. The casein protein in whole milk can also trigger autoimmune responses in susceptible individuals, leading to increased joint swelling and morning stiffness. Research shows that people consuming whole milk daily have 40% higher inflammatory markers compared to those avoiding it, making arthritis symptoms significantly worse over time. Freelancers often grab whole milk for their endless coffee refills during long work sessions or pour it over quick breakfast cereals between client meetings. Instead of whole milk, switch to unsweetened almond milk or oat milk for your coffee. Replace whole milk cereals with overnight oats made with anti-inflammatory plant milk. Busy professionals and families typically use whole milk in smoothies, baking, and cooking. Replace it with coconut milk for cooking, use cashew milk in smoothies, and experiment with plant-based alternatives in baking recipes that actually enhance flavor while protecting your joints. 2. Flavored milk. Flavored milks like chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla varieties are loaded with added sugars that create chronic inflammation throughout your body. These products contain up to 24 grams of sugar per serving, causing blood sugar spikes that trigger inflammatory cytokine production. The artificial flavors and preservatives in these drinks further aggravate joint tissues, while the combination of dairy proteins and excess sugar creates a perfect storm for arthritis flare-ups. Studies indicate that high sugar intake increases inflammatory markers by up to 60%, directly correlating with increased joint pain and stiffness. When working long hours, freelancers often reach for flavored milk as a quick energy boost or comfort drink during stressful projects. The sugar crash that follows actually decreases productivity. Replace flavored milk with homemade smoothies using frozen berries, spinach, and unsweetened plant milk for sustained energy without the inflammatory aftermath. Parents frequently buy flavored milk thinking it's healthier than soda, while office workers grab it from vending machines for afternoon pick-me-ups. Create flavorful alternatives by blending plant milk with natural vanilla extract and a touch of maple syrup, or infuse water with fresh fruits for a refreshing, joint-friendly beverage option. 3. Sweetened condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk is essentially concentrated sugar and dairy inflammation in a can, with over 166 grams of sugar per cup. This product creates massive inflammatory responses that specifically target joint cartilage and synovial fluid. The high concentration of lactose combined with added sugars triggers advanced glycation end products ages formation, which directly damages joint structures and accelerates arthritis progression. The sticky, thick consistency allows these inflammatory compounds to coat your digestive system, prolonging their harmful effects on your joints. Freelancers working from home often use sweetened condensed milk in their coffee or tea for a quick sweet treat during deadline crunches. This habit creates energy crashes that hurt productivity while silently damaging joints. Substitute with coconut cream mixed with a small amount of pure maple syrup for sweetness without the inflammatory overload. Home bakers and dessert lovers frequently use sweetened condensed milk in recipes for fudge, pies, and international desserts. Replace it with cashew cream sweetened with dates, or use coconut milk with natural sweeteners. These alternatives provide the same creamy texture while actually supporting joint health through anti-inflammatory compounds. 2. Powdered milk. Powdered milk undergoes intensive processing that creates oxidized cholesterol and damaged proteins, both powerful inflammatory agents. During the spray drying process, the milk proteins become denatured and form compounds that your immune system recognizes as foreign invaders, triggering autoimmune responses that attack joint tissues. The concentrated lactose content in powdered milk can also feed harmful gut bacteria, creating systemic inflammation that manifests as joint pain and morning stiffness throughout your body. Freelancers and remote workers often keep powdered milk as a convenient backup for coffee when fresh milk runs out, especially during busy project periods. This convenience comes at the cost of increased joint inflammation. Stock up on shelf-stable plant milk alternatives like oat milk or almond milk that don't require refrigeration until opened. Hikers, campers, and busy families use powdered milk for convenience and long shelf life in recipes and beverages. Consider powdered coconut milk or cashew milk powder as alternatives. These provide the same convenience factor while delivering anti-inflammatory compounds instead of joint-damaging substances, making them perfect for active lifestyles and meal prep. 5. Ultra-processed plant milks with additives. Even plant-based doesn't guarantee joint safety when manufacturers load these products with inflammatory additives. Carrageenan, a common thickener in plant milks, has been linked to intestinal inflammation that triggers systemic inflammatory responses affecting joints. Synthetic vitamins, artificial flavors, and stabilizers like locust bean gum can disrupt your gut microbiome, leading to increased intestinal permeability and inflammatory compounds entering your bloodstream. Many commercial plant milks also contain inflammatory oils like sunflower oil that oxidize easily, creating free radicals that specifically target joint cartilage. Health-conscious freelancers often choose these processed plant milks thinking they're making joint-friendly choices, not realizing the hidden inflammatory additives. Read ingredient labels carefully and choose plant milks with minimal ingredients, or make your own using just nuts, water, and natural flavoring like vanilla extract. Fitness enthusiasts and wellness-focused individuals frequently consume these products in smoothies and protein shakes. Opt for organic, additive-free plant milks or create homemade versions using soaked almonds, cashews, or oats blended with filtered water. This ensures you get the anti-inflammatory benefits of plants without the joint-damaging processing additives. 6. Lactose-free cow's milk with additives. Lactose-free cow's milk still contains all the inflammatory proteins and compounds found in regular dairy, plus additional processing chemicals and enzymes. The lactase enzyme added to break down lactose can trigger digestive inflammation, while the milk still contains casein proteins that promote inflammatory responses in joints. Many lactose-free varieties also include stabilizers, emulsifiers, and preservatives that further aggravate inflammatory pathways. The misconception that lactose-free equals inflammation-free leads many arthritis sufferers to continue consuming these joint-damaging products. Freelancers with lactose sensitivity often switch to these products thinking they've solved their digestive issues, not realizing they're still fueling joint inflammation. The dairy proteins remain intact and continue triggering inflammatory responses. Transition to truly dairy-free alternatives like hemp milk or pea milk that provide protein without inflammatory dairy compounds. People with digestive sensitivities and their families often stock up on lactose-free dairy products believing they're healthier options. Unfortunately, the inflammatory proteins that affect joints remain unchanged. Explore fermented plant-based alternatives like coconut yogurt or make cashew-based cream sauces that provide similar textures without any inflammatory dairy components. 7. Animal-based creamers. Coffee creamers made from dairy contain concentrated inflammatory fats and proteins that directly target joint tissues. These products often combine the worst aspects of dairy with additional inflammatory ingredients like corn syrup, artificial flavors, and hydrogenated oils. The high concentration of saturated fats in creamers promotes inflammatory prostaglandin production, while artificial ingredients create oxidative stress that specifically damages cartilage and joint fluid. Regular consumption leads to chronic low-grade inflammation that manifests as persistent joint stiffness and pain. Freelancers and remote workers rely heavily on coffee throughout their workday, often using multiple servings of creamer daily without realizing the cumulative inflammatory impact. This habit creates a cycle where joint pain increases, leading to more caffeine consumption to combat fatigue. Switch to coconut cream, cashew cream, or oat milk for a rich, creamy coffee experience without inflammatory consequences. Office workers and coffee enthusiasts frequently use flavored creamers to make their daily coffee more enjoyable. Create homemade alternatives using coconut milk, vanilla extract, and natural sweeteners like stevia or monk fruit. These provide the same indulgent experience while actually supporting joint health through anti-inflammatory plant compounds. 8. Evaporated milk. Evaporated milk concentrates all the inflammatory compounds found in regular milk while adding heat-damaged proteins that trigger stronger immune responses. The high heat processing creates advanced glycation end products AGEs that specifically attack joint cartilage and accelerate arthritis progression. The concentrated lactose and casein proteins in evaporated milk can trigger inflammatory cascades that persist for hours after consumption, leading to prolonged joint stiffness and pain throughout your day. Home cooking enthusiasts and freelancers preparing quick meals often use evaporated milk in soups, sauces, and baked goods for its rich texture and long shelf life. This convenience ingredient is secretly sabotaging joint health with every use. Replace evaporated milk with coconut cream or cashew cream in recipes for the same rich texture without inflammatory consequences. Busy families and meal preppers frequently rely on evaporated milk for creamy casseroles, desserts, and coffee drinks. Substitute with homemade cashew cream by blending soaked cashews with water or use full-fat coconut milk. These alternatives provide superior flavor and nutrition while actively supporting joint health instead of destroying it through inflammatory compounds. There you have it, the 8 milk types that are silently destroying your joints while you focus on everything else in your busy life. You now have the knowledge to make joint-friendly choices that support your active lifestyle instead of sabotaging it. Subscribe for more profession-specific health advice that actually fits your real life. If this information opened your eyes to hidden inflammation triggers, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to protect their joints today.